Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Sunday afternoon. The plan was to go out for a quick little session today and go catch some herring and get some bait ready for next week, but it's just a touch too windy for where I want to go, so I'll do something a little bit different. There was a couple of questions asked about what sort of boat I've got, and so yeah, I'll go through it with you. I've bought it about 2, maybe 3 years ago. It is a 4.89 Stacer. It's an Evo Lance hull. Bought it from Rockingham Boating. Comes with a full aluminium trailer, except for the drawbar and leaf springs, obviously. The same year motor as well, Yamaha 60 horsepower. I've opted for the wider gunnels instead of skinnier ones, just to make it easy for rod holders and things, a bit more structurally sound. The motor gets me up to about 32, 33 knots on a calm day. But yeah, other than that, she's a perfect little beast. By yourself, bounces around a fair bit. There's a few modifications I wouldn't mind doing to it. For instance, like when we see back here, got the fuel tank and battery sitting there, so it's a 24 litre fuel tank. By the time you put me back there, I mean, I'm not a light person either, and the boat just stands up really high. Other gear that I do have in there, I bought a HDS 7-inch screen. It's probably one of the worst units I've ever bought. As soon as you get a bit of water on it, being a touchscreen, it just doesn't want to work. You can't mark waypoints. It's just a pain in the ass, to be at all honesty. I had a HDS 12 before this. If you had wet fingers, you got water on the screen, it was perfect. You never had any issues with it. Other stuff I've got in here as well, obviously got nav lights, gunnel lights. I've got a 27 meg radio and a Fusion AM, FM and Bluetooth with 6-inch 3-ways up the front here. Fishing gear wise, I'm running 2 fin Nors. They're pretty big. I mean, they are overkill. This one's an 8,500. Running 80 pound on that. And then I've got another fin Nor here. It's a lethal. It's a bit more newer than the other one. I find both reels are good. That's running 50 pound on it. The rigs that I am using on them is 100 pound. You're probably going to think it's way overkill. Yes, it is. But for the fishing that we do, fishing rocks and everything else, it just makes life easy to not get snagged up, and it's easy to get it out when you drive back to go get it. And the other 2 rods I have are a little Shimano. It's only a little 2 kilo one with a Pen Wrath on it with 20 pound braid. It's a 2-piece. And the other one is Shimano TLD 25. She's pretty old, running braid on that, on a Shakespeare ugly stick, which the other 2 rods are ugly sticks as well, which I prefer to use. I used to spend big money on reels and that back in the day, but I find those fin Nors, they're cheap, they last, and yeah, I've had no issues with them. But yeah, other than that, I don't know if you can hear the wind, but yeah, she's pumping a fair bit. But a few upgrades I do want to do to this thing to make it a bit more better. I want to take the floor out, move the fuel tank from there to up here somewhere, and probably put like a 40 litre tank in there instead of carrying a jerry can all the time, which is very rare. I use a jerry can, or very rare I use the full 24 litres of fuel. And probably the other thing I wouldn't mind doing, but I probably won't, was to remove that seat and make this a full open deck. But I'll just leave that as it is for now. But yeah, other than that, it's a good sturdy boat. She's pretty wide for her size. But yeah, when it gets a bit choppy, you do get pounded and you do get drenched, as from last weekend's episode. It took me about an hour and a half to get out to 5 Mile, where I got those jewfish the other day. But it's like everything, you take your time, you will get there. But most people wouldn't have gone anyway. But I drove all the way out there, so I thought I would make the most of it. The other good thing about this trailer too, it's nice and low and easy to launch and retrieve off the beach. I've done it once before, and I'm sure you're going to see it plenty more times. So I think I'll wrap this up as it is, and got a couple of days off next week, and we'll try and sneak out because we've got the demersal ban coming up on the 15th, so I'm going to try and do another trip up north again one last time and see if we can bag out again. If not, then yeah, we'll be at the mercy of the weather at the moment. This week has not been great at all. Wow, middle of the week was good, but I couldn't get any time off work. And this afternoon it's supposed to die off a bit more later in the day, but haven't got the time for it. So until next week, feel free to comment and like and subscribe. Tell me what you want to see more of and what do you think of the boat, and we'll go from there. All right, take it easy, and I'll see you next week. Later.